Good morning, everyone. This morning, I thought we'd take a look again at the Taxpayers Alliance welfare dashboard. A very informative website, and it's one that I know any viewers to this channel take a great deal of interest in. And the reason for that is quite simple. It's our money that's taken through our taxes and spent on welfare. And I have to say, it's not always being wisely spent. But it's important that we look at this to get the lowdown in terms of where our cash is actually being spent or wasted and squandered, is what I actually believe. But we'll scroll on down the Taxpayers Alliance welfare dashboard and we'll have a look at what's what and see where our hard-earned tax money is actually ending up. So we'll go down to this link here. It's called Use the Dashboard. And I should say it's a very informative website, the Taxpayers Alliance. And it does show key information which relates to national spending on benefits. So here we go. And we want to actually look at this one over here, the second one down, employment and support, work capability assessments. And what a work capability assessment actually is. This determines, are you fit for work, and are you eligible for benefits such as employment and support allowance and universal credit. So let's click on this and explore the data. Okay, and it says up at the top here, country, region, local authority, constituency and postcode. We'll have a look at country because the Taxpayers Alliance don't actually do Northern Ireland, and I think that should change. I actually think they should do Northern Ireland. But as we see, they have England, Wales and Scotland. And when we're going to click on is Scotland because they're quite similar to Northern Ireland in many respects in terms of what's being spent on welfare benefits. So if we have a look at Scotland, that gives us sort of a good indication of what's being spent in Northern Ireland because the two countries are very similar, Scotland and Northern Ireland. So we'll click down to Scotland. And here we go. We're looking at the chart for work capability assessments from June 19 and all the way across to March 25, which is just over a year ago. And as we see what the various colours represent. The blue is the life fit note. The green is limited capability for work. And the orange is limited capability for work and work related activity. In other words, that's the one you want to get because that enables you to claim employment and support allowance and universal credit. Now, as we see, in June 19, there was basically 18,399 people within Scotland claiming limited capability for work and work-related activity. And the live fit note was actually 22,801. So it was actually more than the limited capability for work and work-related activity. But as we see, when it comes to basically December 19, we see the limited capability for work and work-related activity, the LCWRA, is 30,398. It starts to overtake the footnote, which sits at 26,287. And what we see as we go along the graph, we see the orange line go up and up and up, way past the blue and the green. And it keeps on going and going and going. It goes up at a disproportionate rate, which is quite extraordinary. I'm sure you'll agree. So we come to the end of the chart, and we come to March 25. Wow, look at that there, folks. That's quite incredible. I'll just zoom the camera in. The footnote has actually went down since December 19. Or it hasn't moved, I should say. It's pretty much the same. 26,053. But look at the LCWRA, the limited capability for work and work related activity. Look at that there, folks. 197,000. I'll just get that up again. 197,309 people in Scotland who are eligible for that benefit. And that's what gets you universal credit and employment and support allowance. There's no way that amount of people within from December 19 to March 25, that is a gerrymandered outcome. And I have my own opinions about why the government allows that. Because if you can get more people on benefits and more people who are dependent on the government for their income, those people will vote for that government in power. So there's an element of gerrymandering going on here. The more people that you can get depend on state welfare benefits, the more votes the people in government can get. And government is the problem. Government is the problem. That's certainly a gerrymandered result. Quite shocking in actual fact. Take a look at those figures. And then we'll go back to the start and look again. December 2019. The LCWRA is 31,782. March 25, 197,309, and that's within Scotland. I would love to know what Northern Ireland's figures are like over that same time period. But how many MLAs do you hear speaking about this? Very few. They don't want to upset the apple cart, so they keep their mouths shut. Quite disgraceful, folks, and your taxes are paying for that. When you go to fill your car up currently, with the high price of petrol and diesel, nearly half of that is tax, and that's where your hard-earned cash is going. To feed the insatiable appetite of those people on welfare benefits. Well, tell me what you think. Do you agree with this or do you not? I would say the majority of you don't agree with this. But as always, leave your comments and tell me what you think. And I'll see you all in the next video.